Okay, I'm back. I told you it wouldn't take me very long. I just had to grab a quick card. So, we are going to talk about heaven today. And in our Bible, it's coming from John 14, verses 2 and 3. Also in Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians verse 4, can't read today. 1 Thessalonians 4, verses 16 through 17. Revelations 21, verses 1 through 22. If your parents would like to look up those verses, they're more than welcome to. But what we're talking about today is heaven. So let's ask a question, or I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you guys like to go places? Of course, everybody likes to go places. It's kind of hard right now. We can't go a lot of places, but we still like to go. Any chance we get, we try to go places. Do you like to go to the park, to the beach? Maybe to see mountains, like tall, super tall mountains and the big city. Maybe you would like to go to the country and visit a farm and see cows, maybe even ride a horse. Maybe you would like to go to a zoo and see all the animals that God made. Lions, monkeys, the bears, birds, alligators. We sing about alligators often and bears. The world is full of wonderful places to go and visit. But the most wonderful place of all, we can't go visit. Can y'all guess what that place is? It's where God lives, the place that we call heaven. The Bible tells us that heaven is a large, beautiful, and wonderful city. There are 12 big gates that go into the city. Each gate has a great, big, beautiful pearl. Heaven is such a wonderful place. What would heaven be like? Do you ever think about that and ask? Well, heaven is a wonderful city where the streets are made out of gold. We don't have a lot of gold on earth. Rings, necklaces, and watches are made out of gold, and they're very expensive. But heaven, even the streets are paved in gold. In God's wonderful city called heaven, there are precious jewels, which, your mom has probably jewels. Everybody has jewels. Pearls, rubies, diamonds, all kinds of jewels. Jewels are very expensive stones that glitter and shine. Heaven has a beautiful river. On each side of the river is a tree of life with different kinds of fruit growing on it. Can you imagine different kinds of fruit growing on the same tree? You'd have apples growing with oranges, growing with bananas and pineapples. They're all on the same tree. On earth, we only get oranges from orange trees, and apples from apple trees, and pears from pear trees. On earth, we do not get different kinds of fruit off the same tree. But in heaven, even the trees are very special. In heaven, it will never be dark. There will never be night in God's wonderful city. The city of heaven will always be filled. Sorry, I have to turn the page. They will always be filled with light because God is there. Sunshine or flashlights or candles will not need to be in God's beautiful city. I'm glad there won't be any sadness or any crying in heaven. No one will ever be sick or hurt in heaven. There won't be any need for hospitals or doctors in God's great city. Those in heaven never get old. They will never die. Everyone in heaven is happy and healthy. I'm glad that bad things, called sin, will never enter into God's beautiful city either. There will be no thieves to steal anything there, and no one will ever do bad things to hurt anyone in heaven. And best of all, God lives in heaven. We'll talk with him and live with him forever. We will be able to see his son, Jesus, and talk with him forever and ever also. So, as we read more stories throughout the Bible, as we try to finish out our year, they're going to help us understand how to help us be with heaven, how to be in that wonderful city that God talks about that's so beautiful and paved in gold and jewels and diamonds and and anything else you could possibly imagine. It's just a wonderful place. So every day we want to have our ears open and be thinking of what God would want us to think. I don't know, y'all are kind of young, but if you ever hear there's like a WWWD, what would JD, what would Jesus do? And that's a question that you would always want to ask yourself. If I was doing something, if I was going to make a choice, what would Jesus want me to do? What would God want for each of us to do? It's something that we always want to kind of remind ourselves and really think about. If you ever get tempted by sin to do something you shouldn't, if you ever get, for whatever reason, your mom said you can't have a candy, and you're like, oh, but it's just one candy. I should be okay with just one candy. We want to remember that that's not what God would want us to do. He would want us to do the right thing and do what's right. And so it's a question that we should always be sure to ask ourselves and think about. What I would like for you to do today is I would like for you to draw me a picture of what you think God would be like, heaven would be like. What would be a perfect place that you would want? I mean, it talks about streets paved in gold and jewels and no more fighting, no more crying, no hurt. But what would your heaven look like? What is everything you would expect it to be? It'd be really neat to see your ideas. Thank you for listening very well to the start of our lesson today. I'm looking forward to seeing any pictures that you draw. And then we will finish our Bible story tomorrow. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.